What's good, YouTube? Welcome to the multi-million secondary market of Yu-Gi-Oh! My name's Jonathan Moore of House of Champs, and I'm going to be walking you through today why the secondary market of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is rising in activity and why collector cards are such a target on buyouts lately. Now, you may say that's a little crazy, John. Millions of dollars in Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles, not just product? How can you back that up? That's a lot of money. Well, I'm here to walk you through it. And there's proof first off, because how else would Kaiba be affording all these cool toys? But jokes aside, Trollandtoad.com does over $1 million in single sales a year on their own. All by themselves. Troll and Toad does this. And if you haven't taken a look at Troll and Toad's factory, here's an overhead view of just part of their factory. This isn't all of it. Of course, now, they're one of the largest retailers for many games. But this is insanity. They do over millions of dollars of sale a year in singles on their own. So, let's factor in some other really big named companies. We have Core TCG, Billy Break's sponsor, out of California. They do insane sales as well. We have PPG out of Florida, doing very well, up-and-coming riser, sponsors ton of players. Where do you think that money comes from? It comes from Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles and products, but singles are a lot of it. We even have a new company, shoutouts to DGZ Bond 5, but in all seriousness, a company called YGO, Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles, focusing on Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming out of New Zealand. And we have ARG, who hosts their own circuit series. What do you think the point of the circuit series is? It's for singles, but they do a lot of card games now. It's not just Yu-Gi-Oh! Supporting ARG, but they also do a very large amount in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sales. So these are just stores. These are just stores that do this. Now, let's factor in where the real money is going from, and that's independent users, eBay, TCG Player, and Amazon. So, if you're newer to my kind of discussions, you might not know what TCG Player is. TCG Player is a website set up specifically to sell, basically, trading cards, but there's other things like HeroClix on there. eBay, of course, you can sell about anything, but tons and tons of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards sell there too. And Amazon tends to be a little more expensive because their fees are higher, yet there are still insane amounts of sales on there. I would think more people go there to look at product though, but I didn't want to leave it out of the discussion here. There are millions of dollars of sales in singles on all these websites per year, coming just from Yu-Gi-Oh! Singles, not product. Now, what's driving all of this revenue? What's driving all of these prices? It can't be the price support, because let's look at the regional level price support. It's a rubber mat and a deck box. That's not driving it. Now, some OTSs add prize support, but this is the base prize support that a lot of regionals get. I know Epic Cards and Games and some other tournament organizers do host more prize support in order to drive it in. And at the YCS level, you have game consoles and prize cards, but trips to nationals, those kinds of things. It's actually a pretty good system for that, but there's not much money in the prize support. So what's really driving that? Well, it's us, the tournament players, the secondary market, the people collecting because they like the anime. It's us, the people. And that's where all this money is coming from and moving from. And we're the reason these cards are worth so dang much. But there's a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Players in the world, so there's a lot of money moving around the game. And let's just go into some cards that have recently been more of note slash I would think to bring up when collecting. First off, Charge of the Light Brigade is coming back into relevance here, but it's always been worth money. It sat at $30 for years, and now it's hitting $80 for the first edition. There's something special about TDGS though, and that's the fact that I believe its first ed print was sneak peek only. So you have to make yourself knowledgeable about sets when you're approaching the collector's market. Stardust Dragon, very similarly, its first ed is a ghost rare in the set. Ghost rares are a discontinued rarity, and as such, I think they will continue to rise in price, but Stardust Dragon has this perfect mix for the first ed ghost version. Stardust Dragon is a card that is very key to the show. It's a main boss monster of a hero in the show, Yusei. He's first ed, which is very hard to get for this variant. And then he's Ghost Rare, a discontinued rarity, and it keeps its price very, very high. And then he floats in and out of relevance to the meta on top of that. So you have that nice click of playability and collectability. And then you have cards that aren't very playable at all, I would argue, but Ultimate Rares are almost discontinued. They only print 3 Ultimate Rares every couple of months, and they're new special packs. So Harpy's Queen here is also kind of key to the show in the sense that it's a My Valentine card. So it's a Harpy, which is very popular to the anime, and then it's also in a almost discontinued rarity. Now, we approach the collector's market, and there's something about all these cards, and these specific versions. There's very low quantities of them. There's not many of them to go around, so if somebody with some deeper pockets wants to go buy them all out, they can reset the price essentially on what it is. There will be some other sellers sometimes, but there's, as I just covered in the Market Watch, there's not a single near mint copy of Harpy Queen Ultimate Rare on the market. That's pretty insane that you cannot actually go out and buy this card on eBay or TCG Player mint today. No matter how much money you had, you'd have to find an independent collector or store that would have it. Now, quantities matter a lot with prices, because what's happening a lot lately is groups of collectors will get together, they'll look at cards, and they'll say, let's go ahead and buy that out, and we'll have the copies, and it will naturally go up in price. It kind of sucks for people who collect, but at the same time, these cards have been around for a very long time, so you had the opportunity to get them if you wanted to for a cheaper price. Now what's happening, though, is the secondary market is evolving and evolving and evolving. We've had it for a very long time, and let's go take a look at an older card game to give a very good example. Let's look at Pokemon. Now, all Charizards are typically worth something in Pokemon, but a lot of people from the outside think, oh, it's just the first ed base set. A lot of people had the mentality of, it'll be like baseball cards and one day it'll be worth a lot. Well, it actually held true, but more so because of nostalgia factors, and people who used to have them are now getting rich and having successful jobs. They come back to their childhood and they get their first ed Charizard that they always wanted or they had and destroyed. But it's not, that's not all, you know. Pokemon has a very, very wide, this is very comparable to STBL. Skyridge is kind of a special set, and it has these secret rare crystal types. I know this is Charizard again, but there's Ho-Oh, there's Crobat, there's Golem, and you have all of these special cards that are worth a lot for their collector's price. And then you also have sets like the Triple Star Shinings out of Neo Destiny that are almost an ultimate rare foil, a special foiling that Pokemon hadn't had for a very, very, very long time, and it's kind of being recreated now in a sense. But these are all special, like, cards that are worth money in their collector's market that just keep rising up year after year. And they experience their ups and downs too, but we're kind of following in that trend set of having collectability versus playability. And, you know, Charizard actually came back, like, it got reprinted. You could play it in decks. Of course, that caused a spike in its interest. Now, when I suggest to people on what to buy and how to buy it when investing in Yu-Gi-Oh! I think investing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a ridiculous term, though, because anything can happen, but people do it. So when you're looking for your trades, to trade your meta cards out for something that you think will hold value for a long time, because a lot of people aren't looking to make, they're looking to hold at times, you either have to go towards a discontinued set that, you know, this rarity will stay money. Like, Needleworm just experienced a buyout on its ultra rare, and it spiked very heavily. And whenever something spikes, it'll fall back down as quantities come back onto market, but it will level out above its original buyout point, and that's why so many people are doing these buyouts. So you want to go for, like, even though they reprinted another ultra rare Needleworm, it's not its TP3 variant, it doesn't look the same, it's going to retain its value or go up as time goes because there's less near mint copies, because there's less collectors that it will ever sell. They're going to keep it for a very, very long time. And then you have cards like DDS Blue Eyes, a very, very special game promo that came out in the very first, I believe, Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game. And, you know, it's so hard to get near mint that even the non-near mint copies are selling for ridiculous amounts of money. I think near like 150, 200 at this point. So you want to go for cards that are a discontinued rarity or harder to get. You want to go for sets that had a very small first ed print run. When I say small, some sets only had their first ed print run at a sneak peek, or like Vanity's Emptiness, the entire set only had a first ed print run. So targeting those kinds of sets can typically be very good for over time, as it's really hard to get. A lot of ultimate rares that are first ed are very hard to get. So you'll also want to be targeting some of those, which is also a somewhat discontinued rarity. Like I said, only 3 ultimate rares printed per month, or ghost rares. So when looking at the collector's market in a whole, my suggestion personally is to go for those kinds of cards. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. It's kind of an explanation on what's happening to our market as well, because the buyouts are so real right now, and people are getting sick of them in my market watches, and I wanted to explain exactly what's happening. It's not just these are never going to be seen again. It's groups of kind of people forcing these prices up, and there's not much we can do about it as a player base except not buy them, except there's so many people in Yu-Gi-Oh! That's just not going to happen. Thanks for watching, guys.